Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. Today I'm going to talk about how to make some currency while getting to gamble. And we're going to do this by using our extra Vaal orbs. Of course, you should make sure you keep enough around so that you can Vaal your maps. And you can always sell them for currency as well. But I like to gamble personally. I'm a big gambler and crafting in this game is all about gambling. And I would like to do some gambling to try to make a little bit of extra money. I'm going to go over 5 different item types that you can definitely corrupt in order to attempt to make a decent amount of extra currency. And we're going to put those together. So we're going to start with the least profitable and go towards the most profitable towards the end. Number 5, the probably least profitable in this, is going to be unique jewels, specifically thresholds or just any commonly used jewels. And what we're going to be looking for in order to increase the value of these are can't be inflicted with corrupted blood, increased area of effect, damage, or reduced mana cost. There's also things like crit chance, but they're in very small amounts, so it's not incredibly popular, but a lot of people want a way to not have to deal with corrupted blood, not have to worry about using a bleed removal flask, so having that on there is usually pretty nice. AoE and reduced mana are hard to come by on the tree and on items without having to go way out of your way, so getting some extra onto your jewels is always really nice. And of course, in many skills, the more AoE the better, and for anybody looking to use a lot of auras, reduced mana is always very good as well. And then there's always percentage damage. Now, you're not going to make a ton of profit with these, unfortunately. Even with pretty good corrupts, you're probably still looking at maybe only pumping up the jewel's price by a couple of chaos at most. But it's still pretty nice, and if you're going to be using the jewels anyway, you may as well, if you're looking for a specific corrupt, do this and sell the extras. Number 4 is going to be bad implicit jewelry. And I'm talking things like gold, iron, and power rings are all pretty bad. Flat regen on your amulets, not so great. Things like a cloth belt for the stun, reduced stun duration, not so great. Generally speaking, anything like this, you can probably go ahead and just corrupt if they've got really good stats. And there are a lot of stats you can get on these. Many of them are very good. I'm just going to go over some of the more profitable ones. So with the popularity of stat stacking, and I'm talking about things like the Baron, Hands of Wisdom in Action, things like that. Even the extra damage per dex that you can get on bows, those are all very popular at the moment. You can actually get percentage stats as a corruption on your jewelry, so that's very nice. Also, you can get flat elemental damage on the rings and amulets. You can get quantity, which is really nice. Item quantity can generally be fairly valuable, and it's great quality of life for any build because you're going to find more items while mapping. You can get aura effect for various auras. Wrath is always very popular. You can get some Wrath aura effect, and if you already have some good stats, that can boost the value quite a bit. And then for amulets, you can get added curse, which is always a very nice mod to have as well. There are many, many more mods you can get on jewelry, so I've provided the link to all the corruptions in the description below if you want to check that out. Number 3 is going to be Tabula Rasa, specifically Tabula Rasa, because they're generally pretty easy to get with divination cards, and you're just able to find them at a pretty reasonable rate. You can just sell them for the guaranteed profit, but you can amplify your profit greatly by getting plus gem levels on the Tabula Rasa. There are various different types of plus gem level. There's a plus to all gem levels, which is really nice, and then they have plus 2 to specific gem levels. So plus 1 to all gem levels, and then plus 2 to specific kinds such as AoE, Trap and Mine, etc. Duration, of course. Another one that might increase the value a little bit is the increased damage, 30 to 50% increased damage on the Tabula Rasa makes it pretty solid for leveling. I would say that those would be what you could go for. I recently corrupted one of my Tabula Rasa to have +1 to all gem levels, and I sold it pretty much immediately for 84 chaos, so pretty nice profit there. Number 2 is any kind of unique gloves, and specifically we're going to look for more higher mid-tier gloves, ones that are used in a lot of builds but aren't too rare or expensive. The ones I would recommend are Oscarm, which is the Assassin's Mark on Hit gloves, or a 1 Jewel Tomb Fist. These are both relatively inexpensive. You're not going to be missing out on too much. If you brick them, it's just like 15 to 20 chaos type scenario, and they have some really nice corruptions you can get on them. So we have Curse on Hit. There's a variety of Curse on Hit. Oscarm is already Curse on Hit, and if you can get an additional curse with Amulet, for instance, a corrupted amulet, or just by getting additional curse off the tree or from another unique item, or of course if you are playing an occultist, you can do this as well. You can get double curse on hit, which is really nice quality of life. You can also get plus crit chance for both attacks and spells. It'll add flat crit chance, which will amplify any of your crit chance you get from the tree. Very nice as well. And then one of the most desirable ones and one of the most profitable ones is going to be +1 frenzy charges. There are tons and tons of builds that use frenzy charges, a majority of them I would say, and having an additional frenzy charge is going to amplify your damage pretty greatly, along with your cast speed and attack speed, so lots of quality of life there as well. This one on an Oscarm, currently there's actually not a +1 frenzy charge Oscarm that I was able to find when I checked for my research for this, so they've got to be very rare and very expensive. You can also get percentage max life and percentage max energy shield, which should add a little bit of value as well. I believe it will usually double the value or so to get the percentage max life. So pretty nice for your investment there. And lastly, we're going to go with rare quivers. Now, I want to give a stipulation. You only really want to do this with eye level 75 or higher rare quivers. I would change my loot filter if you want to do this to include all rare quivers level 75 plus. And what you want to do is you'll identify quivers and you'll just toss them or sell them if they don't have good stats. But if they do have good stats, specifically look for over 80 life. You want to corrupt them. Even if they don't really have any other good stats, 80 plus life will be good enough because you can get additional arrow. And the additional arrow is going to be very valuable and amplify the actual value of that quiver by quite a lot, including up into the multiple exalts or even tens of exalts territory. When I looked, there were only 4 quivers with over 80 life and an additional arrow, and they ranged from 30 chaos to 30 exalts. So, you know, you're going to get a nice good addition there. You can also get projectiles chain an additional time, which is very powerful. Flat elemental damage, which can be great for elemental damage scaling and stacking builds. Physical damage as extra of a certain element. And point blank, which is a free more damage multiplier. So you can get some flat damage and a couple of different more multipliers on quivers. So if you can happen to get a high life and then also some extra stats, you could be looking at an insane amplification of your value for something you might just vendor anyway. So it's definitely worthwhile. You could go from a 1 chaos item to an exalt item potentially pretty easily, and that would be my highest recommendation out of all of these. I think these are all pretty overall good way to spend your Vaal orbs, but this is gambling, so your results may vary. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out my other videos. They should be popping up here, and also leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I always appreciate your support. If you'd like to further support the channel, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/behindeyesgaming, or you can join hitting the join button to help support me month by month. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!